When did you first realize your child was growing up way too fast? Hey guys, tonight we're diving into that heart-twisting, blink and you miss it part of parenting, the moment you realize your child is growing up way too fast. Picture this. Morning light filters through half-closed blinds. The scent of coffee drifts lazily through the air. And there's a pile of laundry waiting, of course. You're minding your own business when your kid comes barreling in. Arms full of clothes. I'm wearing this today. You probably won't survive this particular moment without either laughing or staging a minor negotiation summit. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Now, let's tumble into the story. You trudge into the living room with a steaming mug in one hand, rubbing sleep from your eyes with the other. The kidlets call them Alexis, already fully energized. The kind of perkiness only 6-year-olds and Labrador puppies can muster. In their arms, a very curated outfit, polka-dotted leggings, a superhero cape, and rain boots. It is, objectively, magnificent, and entirely unsuited for today's weather, which is somewhere between swampy and please don't wear a cape. You blink. You sure about that? Alex beams. Yes, this is me today. Now, you know the rulebook says to foster independence and confidence, but you weren't prepared for this level of self-expression before your second cup of coffee. Historians still argue whether medieval sumptuary lost regulations controlling who could wear what were about preserving social order, or just the elite being fashion snobs. Either way, Alex's outfit would have had them swiftly paraded out of any 15th century guild hall. You lean down. Well, okay, but maybe bring a sweater? Nope. Capes are warm. Right. Naturally. Later, you walk the grocery aisles together. You notice the stares, the smiles from fellow shoppers. Alex strides along, chin high, a tiny superhero in a world of beige cardigans. A little voice inside you whispers, when did they get this bold? You remember when they clung to your leg for dear life in crowded places. Now they're leading the parade. Quirky tidbit, the first recorded children's clothing brand dates back to 17th century France, where tiny aristocrats were dressed in scaled-down adult garments, no room for capes or polka dots then. You smile, grateful for the evolution of kid fashion. The moment hits you again when an elderly lady approaches. Well, don't you look splendid? She tells Alex. Alex grins. Thanks. I picked it all by myself. And your heart squeezes. Because somewhere between diaper blowouts and now, your baby became a person with opinions. That night, you tucked them in, the cape folded beside the pillow. You kissed their forehead and whisper, you were very brave today. Alex smiles sleepily. I'm gonna wear a crown tomorrow. Of course. As you close the door, you realize it's not just the clothes. It's the voice, the choices, the tiny declarations of independence. And ready or not, they're growing up faster than you imagined. Later that week, bedtime rolls around like usual. You're already half in autopilot mode, bath. Jammies. Story time. You figure it'll be a short night. Alex has been bouncing off the walls all day and should conk out the minute their head hits the pillow. But no. You finish the usual, the stories, one about a grumpy dragon, one about a surprisingly diplomatic pirate. Close the book and lean down to kiss their forehead. And then Alex speaks, voice soft but clear. Mom, do you think people can stop loving each other? You blink, sitting back down on the edge of the bed. What do you mean? Sweetheart? I mean, like if the people love each other and then one day they don't. How does that happen? You stare at your tiny philosopher. Floored. Last week they asked why penguins can't fly. Tonight they're asking about the fragility of love. You take a slow breath. Well, sometimes it happens. People change. Sometimes they grow apart. But love can also grow stronger if you take care of it. Alex nods solemnly, absorbing this. Like watering a plant? You smile. Exactly like that. Historians still argue whether ancient Roman marriage contracts were purely legal documents or deeply personal vows. Either way, even back then people wrestled with the same questions about love that your 6-year-old is now pondering. You stroke their hair. Why are you thinking about this? Alex looks up at you, eyes wide, because in the movie today, the king and queen stopped being friends. It made me sad. Of course. You silently curse animated movies for being emotionally advanced. A quirky tidbit surfaces in 12th century France. Troubadours composed love songs called canzos, many about heartbreak and the endurance of love. Imagine trying to explain that playlist to Alex. You lean in. It's okay to feel sad about that. But remember, in real life, love is about trying and caring, not magic. Alex snuggles closer. I'll always love you, even if we change. Cue the floodgates. You manage to choke out. I'll always love you too. As they drift to sleep, you stay a moment longer, heart both full and aching, because 5 minutes ago, you were managing bath bubbles. Now you're fielding existential questions. They are growing up, faster than you can track. Later that night, as you pour yourself a glass of wine and flop onto the couch, you reflect on the evening, and you realize this is one of those moments, the ones you'll remember when they're grown. They're starting to think bigger, to wonder about the world beyond their own sandbox. And while you'd love to freeze time and keep them small a little longer, you know you can't? All you can do is be there. Answer the questions. Hold the space, even if it means being blindsided by bedtime philosophy. It sneaks up on you again not long after. This time on a bright, blustery Wednesday. You're standing in the entryway, backpack in one hand, permission slip in the other. Alex is about to go on their first school day trip without you. You double-check the list, lunch packed, water bottle filled, extra sweater crammed in at the last minute. You can't help fussing a bit. Surely they'll need backup socks. Surely someone will spill apple juice. Surely you should just go with them. But Alex is already zipping up their jacket with that determined little face they get when they've made up their mind. Mom, you don't need to come. I've got this. Cue the stomach lurch. You kneel down. I know you do. I'm just excited for you. Alex beams, practically vibrating with anticipation. We're going to the museum. There's a real dinosaur skeleton. And a mummy. You manage a smile, even as your inner control freak screams silently. Historians still argue whether medieval mummies transported across Europe were used for genuine scientific study or as morbid curiosities at royal banquets. Either way, you hope Alex won't be too inspired by the tales they'll hear today. The bus arrives, bright and blue. The teacher waves. Parents hover. You expect Alex to cling like they used to on play dates. But no, they sling their backpack over one shoulder, flash you a grin, and run to join their friends. You're left holding an empty hand. Have fun! You call, voice slightly shaky. They wave from the window, face framed by smudged glass, and then they're gone, bus roaring off in a cloud of exhaust and parental tears. You stand there longer than necessary. Quirky tidbit in the Middle Ages. Children as young as 7 were often apprenticed to trades and sent to live away from home. It's a small comfort, but at least Alex is only gone for 6 hours, not 6 years. You head home, the house strangely quiet. Later, you find yourself checking the clock every 20 minutes. They should be at the exhibit now. They should be eating lunch. They should be. But when the bus returns that afternoon, Alex bounds down the steps, cheeks flushed, stories tumbling out. We saw the mummy. It had real gold on it. And guess what? I helped my friend open the museum map. You kneel for a hug. Heart swelling. Sounds like you were a great helper. Alex pulls back, eyes sparkling. I didn't even miss you that much. Oof. That one lands. But beneath the ache, pride blooms. They are growing up braver, stronger, more independent with every passing day. You tuck them in that night, the museum map clutched in one hand. And as you close the door, you marvel again. When did this happen? When did your little one become someone who can navigate a museum, read a map, and manage a whole day away without needing you every second? You smile to yourself. They're growing. You can't stop it. And deep down, you wouldn't want to. It's a few weeks later when the next wave hits completely unexpected. As always, it's Friday afternoon. You're waiting outside school, sipping a lukewarm coffee, scrolling absent-mindedly on your phone. The bell rings. The usual wave of shrieking. Backpack-wielding kids surges out the doors. And there's Alex. But instead of sprinting toward you like usual, they're walking calmly alongside their favorite teachers. Bennett, the one who reads the best stories. The one who lets them use the special glitter pens during art. The one who's moving to a new city next week. You stand up, bracing yourself. They reach you, cheeks a little flushed, hands clasped. I said goodbye today. Alex says, voice steady but a little tight. Oh, honey, you crouch down. Are you okay? They nod. I gave her a card, and they hug. I told her thank you for all the stories. You blink back tears. When did they get this? Gracious. Historians still argue whether medieval farewell rituals were genuine expressions of emotion or carefully scripted public performances. Either way, Alice's quiet goodbye feels achingly real. You pull them close. I'm so proud of you. Alex hugs back fiercely, then pulls away. I didn't cry. I wanted to, but I didn't. And that's when it hits. Not the missing teacher, yes. That stings. But the poise, the emotional control, the maturity, the figuring out how to handle the hard stuff. You walk home, hand in hand. Alex chatters about their day science experiments. A game of tag gonorrhea. The fact that Cal still thinks dinosaurs had feathers. Quirky tidbit in the 19th century. Many scientists resisted the idea that dinosaurs had feathers. Historians still argue whether personal bias or lack of evidence fueled the skepticism. You smile, thinking how some debates are eternal even in the first-grade lunchroom. As the conversation flows, you glance sideways. Your little one, once so fragile and uncertain, is navigating big feelings now. Goodbyes, disappointments, resilience. That night, during story time, Alex surprises you again. Can I pick the book? Of course. They choose Goodbye House. Hello Housey, a book about change, about moving forward. You read it slowly, voice thickening on certain lines. Alex listens intently, then says, it's okay to feel sad. Ms. Bennett said that. You close the book and pull them close. She's very wise. And so are you. Later, as you switch off the light and watch them drift to sleep, you whisper to yourself, they're growing up so fast. And though your heart aches a little, it also swells, because that's the goal. Right, to raise someone who can handle goodbyes with grace, who can feel deeply without falling apart. As you tiptoe out of the room, you realize they are not just raising a child anymore. You're raising a person. Then one ordinary afternoon, it happens again. Not with fanfare, not during a milestone, but in the quiet in-between moments. It's Saturday. The sun is spilling through the windows. You're in the kitchen, half listening to a podcast while sorting through a mountain of laundry. You hear the faint scrape of a chair moving, the clink of a glass, a soft hum. Curious, you peek into the dining room. There's Alex, standing on tiptoes, carefully pouring juice from a heavy ceramic pitcher into their cup. Look at this, they set the pitcher down gently, wipe up a tiny spill with a rag, and carry their cup to the table with two hands. No chaos, no shouting. Mom, help, just pure focus, calm competence. You stand frozen for a beat. When did this tiny human become capable of serving their own drink like a mini-adult? Historians still argue whether medieval children were treated as small adults or allowed prolonged childhoods. Artwork from the period often shows them dressed and working like grown-ups, but some scholars suggest play and gradual learning were always present behind the scenes. You can't stop smiling. You walk over casually. Nice job with the juice. Alex looks up, grinning. Thanks. I didn't spill much this time. This time? You tease. Well, last time was. A lot. You both laugh? Later. You watch them curled up on the couch with a chapter book. Legs crossed. Brow furrowed in concentration. They're still your baby. But now they're also someone who manages tasks. Reads long stories. Says mature goodbyes. Questions life's big truths. Endiospores their own juice. Quirky tidbit, the first known printed children's books appeared in the 15th century. Designed to teach not just reading, but manners and life skills. You wonder what medieval parents felt as they watched their children turn pages and grow before their eyes. That night, as you tuck Alex in, the familiar ache returns. They're slipping away from the small, dependent creature you once knew. But they're becoming something even more magical, themselves. You kiss their forehead. Good night. Big kid. Alex grins sleepily. Good night. Mom. And as you turn off the light, the words echo in your heart. Big kid. It's happening. Faster than you thought. And though you wish you could pause the clock, you know better. The only thing to do now is marvel. Cherish. Support. Because this wild ride of watching a child grow up, it's the greatest adventure of all. Now, as the house settles into stillness and the stars spin gently overhead, you breathe in and let the day drift softly away. You picture Alex's little milestone as those tiny triumphs that signal the world unfolding too quickly to catch. A bold outfit, a deep question, a brave goodbye, a carefully poured cup of juice. Each one a pebble in the stream of time, carrying them forward, further and faster than your heart was ready for. But tonight, you can let the ache ease, because this is what growing up looks like. Not just the big first shul trips, birthdays, first dance, but the quiet moments that pass unnoticed if we're not paying attention. As you breathe slower, imagine walking through a sun-dappled path where memories line the way like fallen leaves. Some crisp and bright, some faded but cherished. In this space, you can let go of the worry about time racing ahead. You can hold on to the wonder of watching a child become themselves flawed, brave, curious, endlessly growing. So as your eyes close and your body sinks deeper into rest, remember, childhood isn't something we lose. It's something we carry, tucked in the corners of our hearts, in the sparkle of a child's eyes and the echo of their laughter. And tomorrow? Tomorrow you'll wake with fresh wonder, ready to witness the next small, extraordinary sign that your child is growing exactly as they should. Sleep well.